I'm Sean, and we're back with another Before the Thunder. And not a moment too soon, it seems. Things in the world are a bit crazy at the moment, and what better way to try and find some calm than with a couple of stories? First up, we have a story from Wattpadder Adairx. So sit back, relax, and enjoy fan mail. Starling hummed as she thrummed the guitar strings. The soft chime of her voice echoed in the empty studio. The melody came to a sudden halt as the guitar strings snapped. A small yelp followed soon as another guitar string scar located itself on her fingers. She hissed and rushed to the bathroom. A hiss fell from her lips when the antiseptic burned the small wound. Her nail technician, as she liked to be referred instead of nail artist, was going to give her an earful about it. It was nothing new for her, especially in the past month. She was stuck on a piece of melody, a song she didn't want to share. She could feel herself running out of her creative juices just at the age of almost 20. She sighed and shook her head as she locked her music room behind her and secured the key in her pocket. It was the most valuable room in the whole house as it housed her passion and her career. Her eyes fell on the white envelope she picked up today in the rare post. Most of her fan mails were addressed to the studio and her bills digital. Her house was her sanctuary. That was her place to be Starling Page, not Starlight, the famous teen sensation. A smile formed on her lips as she saw the small heart scribbled at the corner. 100% of fan mail, she thought as she flipped the envelope over. There was no doubt that she was curious, as fan mails were rarely handled by her. "You are hot. I love you so much," she guessed as she tore the envelope open. She had heard about the vast vocabulary of words they used to describe her. A smooth white letter and a wrapped red heart candy slipped out. She stared at the candy curiously and then put it aside. She unfolded the letter, scanning the words written in curvy script. "Do you remember your first song? Maybe it's the way you smile. Maybe it's the way you make everything right. Maybe it's the way you look into my eyes. Maybe it's the way you sing when you drive. Maybe it's the way you hold on so tight. Maybe that's why you make me love you 1,000 times. You might not remember me, but I do remember you clearly. For me, it is hard to forget someone as enigmatic as you. You know me too. Just don't remember me anymore. The Forgotten Girl. P.S. The candy is raspberry candy. I know you're allergic to strawberries." Starling's breath hitched as she read the familiar but forgotten lyrics again. She blinked and pulled the wrapper from the candy as she thought about the girl who had captured her attention. Her manager stopped short as he took her in. He raised an eyebrow. She shrugged. "It was just fan mail," she said, "with the raspberry candy." The music was buzzing in the background as bodies moved in the crowded living room. Gossip littered the air the same way red glasses littered the ground. But they were beyond caring. Starling's lips moved swiftly along the soft, pillowy lips. The faint taste of fruity beer and mints exploded across her mouth. She drowned in the spell of her lips as their hands sought each other's clothes and bodies. A small moan rumbled from her mouth as the soft lips traveled down the curve of her neck. It was long after that, when both of them basked in the glories of their activities. Under the light covers, they were huddled close. Starling traced the girl's pin-straight hair along her back, enjoying the silky smoothness under her fingertips. "Kevin will be so angry that we had sex in his bed," Starling said as a short laugh bubbled up from her lips. She felt the girl shake with laughter, too. "Well, he did leave his bedroom door open in the middle of a party," the girl started to say with her body leaning over Starling's. "I promised to get him new sheets tomorrow so he won't be angry. He'll understand that his best friend was horny and jumped on her girlfriend." They went silent for a moment, looking up at the pale blue roof. "Star, the girl asked with her eyes still focused on the roof. Starling hummed in response. If, hypothetically, you were to become famous tomorrow, will you still remember me? In her words, Starling moved to look at her girlfriend. She cupped her face in her hands and placed a long kiss on the small lips. I love you, Raven, so I will always remember you. Promise in her eyes made Raven smile. I love you too, Star. Starling was once again zoned out. Her manager sighed exasperatedly and shook his head. Star, you need to focus. The label is asking for your progress on the new album. They want you to release it before Christmas. He checked the phone. Which is only 2 months away. What is happening, Star? I'm working on it, she said as she smiled uneasily and checked her watch. I have to leave, okay? Bye. She was out the restaurant door before he could complain. As her driver moved the car along the busy LA roads, her mind went to the letters. Letters she had been receiving for the past 1 month, daily. I miss those hugs. I miss those smiles. I miss those 1,000 stories in your eyes. I miss the feel of your skin against mine. I miss the way you could talk for miles. I miss the night under those skies. I miss the way it felt to claim you mine. With every familiar word and every raspberry candy, she was falling more and more in love with the girl she forgot. I need to tell you too, Star started. She paused for a short breath. We need to break up. Star heard Raven's breath hitch on the other end. Saying it out loud was hurting her a lot more than it did in her mind. Raven sniffled as she felt a tight hand wrap around her heart, squeezing painfully. Why? Raven croaked. It wasn't working out, Star sighed. I'm too busy for you, and this long distance is too much for me. I feel like we should free each other from this. We're just 18, and we have many more relationships ahead of us. Before Raven could say anything, a voice called out, Raven Lee? Hurriedly, Raven responded, saying an unfeeling okay, and cut the call. Welcome, our hot teen sensation, Starlight, the reality show host announced. With a well-practiced smile, Starling gracefully climbed on the set stage. Her smile was dazzling, but anyone who knew her well could tell it was fake. So, Starlight, tell us more about your inspiration for your latest album. The host started. It is personally my favorite, so tell me, what inspired you to compose something so raw and heart-feeling? The tears Starling was keeping at bay almost made an appearance. Her eyes turned glassy, but she didn't shed one because grieving was a personal matter for her. Sometimes, questions are complicated, and the answers are simple, she said, remembering the words from the last letter she received from the forgotten girl. This album is for the girl that I loved, the girl that I forgot, and the girl that I lost forever. This is for my Raven, and that is why this album is named Raven. Starling's mind went back to the last letter as the host reacted to her words. You might have recognized me by now. Yes, it is me, Raven. You must be wondering why I'm writing these letters to you. Well, because I'm dead. I was too cowardly to post them when I was alive and suffering, so I left them with Kevin. I just wanted to remind you and confess to you that even if you broke my heart, I still love you, Star. And I will remember you till my last breath, even if you forgot me. The flower stored in the timeless resin pendant in this letter of forget-me-not, because I still hope that maybe this time you'll remember me forever. Our next story also deals with relationships, but from a different angle. From Wattpad author Dreamer Day, I give you Kamalika. It was on the 24th of December, and we had a Christmas party at our school, which I didn't want to attend. I think I was about 11 at the time. I didn't have many friends and thought it was wise to stay home, rather than feeling lonely in a crowd. My mother, however, felt different. She insisted that I attend the event. When she threatened me with TV Bandhu, I immediately agreed. Television was the dearest thing to me, something I couldn't ever part with. Moreover, I had a plan which I could ensure that I left the party early. That morning, I started wheezing and breathing through my mouth whenever my mother was near. It was not the first time I had taken advantage of my asthma. I had planned to stay half an hour before faking an asthma attack. It was 10:30 when my mother dropped me off at school. The entire school's compound was covered with fake snow. The main gate was decorated with bells, wreaths, and red ribbons. Outside, a Santa Claus was standing, which I could bet was one of our school's security guards who had a big belly and a thick mustache. "I don't think I'm feeling well. Maybe we can still return home," I said to my mother. She ignored me and started waving enthusiastically to other kids and wished them Merry Christmas. She looked over my shoulder and her eyes twinkled. "Kamalika! Kamalika!" I gripped her hand. "Ma, please don't shout like this." "Hi, Auntie. Hi, Isha." Kamalika came and smiled at us. She wore a full-sleeve red sweater and dark blue jeans. She had bright rosy cheeks and her eyes were laughing. She looked like a Barbie doll. I, on the other hand, looked like a demented Cupid doll. I touched my hair and smiled reluctantly. "Hi." "You're looking so pretty. When did you arrive?" my mother asked her. "Thank you. You're both looking good. Just a few minutes ago, my father dropped me off." I wrung my hands and cursed my mother for making me more uncomfortable. "I was just telling Esha this looks like so much fun. The decorations are so beautiful. She is nervous about today." "Maybe you guys should go together," she suggested hopefully. I was tempted to lock myself in the car. "Of course, Auntie. You don't need to worry. I will be with her," she said and linked our hands together. "We'll be having so much fun." I seriously doubted that. She was not even my friend. Sure, we were classmates, but we had only talked a handful of times. She was the topper who was good at everything, whereas I barely managed to even get average grades. I sighed. Perhaps I could fake the asthma attack after 15 minutes. My mother handed me my Christmas cap and kissed my cheeks. Her face was pink with cold. In a last-ditch attempt, I turned my pleading eyes to her. "I will be at your aunt's place. If you're not feeling well, I will come and get you." She then proceeded to hug me and whispered in my ear, "Just get over it. You'll be fine." I glared resentfully at my mother and headed towards my utmost misery. Inside, there was even more snow and flowers. Every corner was decorated with flowers. The Christmas tree was adorned with lights, stars, and metallic-colored bells. There was a miniature village done with figurines of baby Jesus and Santa Claus. Most of the kids were running. Some were standing in a queue near the food stalls, and others were admiring the decorations or busy chattering. The teachers were busy managing all of us. It was an inferno of overexcited and over-enthusiastic human beings. I gazed dismally at them. I wanted to go back to the security of my house. "Let's go to the puchka stall first. I didn't eat anything since morning," Kamalika said and dragged me towards the food stalls. I wanted to pull my hand away but felt it would be silly to do so. Besides, I was salivating at the sight of so many puchkas. There were at least 7 food stalls and all were mouth-watering. Have you decided which game we will play first? There are so many I'm unable to determine. She frowned and tapped her forehead. Perhaps the photo scavenger hunt, I said. She nodded her head. Yes, the photo scavenger hunt. We will have a blast. It is an activity where many groups find interesting things and capture them with a camera. I had played this game with my cousin and liked it each time. Kamalika! We looked to our side and saw Tiasha, our classmate, running over towards us. She was tall and wore a dress which made her look like a 15-year-old. She came and hugged Kamalika. I searched the entire school for you. She pulled back and looked at her dress. Nice dress. Next time, please receive your calls. Sorry. My phone was on silent. I couldn't receive it. Esha and I, after eating all these, she said and pointed towards the puchkas and jalebis, are going to play scavenger hunt. Will you join us? She then looked at me for the first time. Hi, Esha. I didn't know you would come today. You don't usually come to these events. You're always so quiet. She just likes to get to know a person more before engaging in a lot of conversation, said Kamalika beside me. I felt grateful for her to say that. But she doesn't have many friends. She should socialize more. Thanks for the reminder, but I'm good. I have a few but faithful friends who understand what runs through my mind. Tiasha definitely staggered a little, as obviously she didn't expect both of us to contradict her. I liked Kamalika for saying that and moved closer to her. She didn't leave me to walk away with her friend. I began to take a new interest in this girl who befriended me. Shreya, a short-statured girl with spectacles who was standing behind Tiasha, grinned at me and was delighting in our clash. Apparently, she was on my side. We had reached the front of the line. The man at the food stall gave each of us our food and we moved to a nearby table. After finishing our meal, we all forgot our argument. We were excited to play the games and started with a photo scavenger hunt. We had 6 groups, each group consisting of 2 members. Kamalika and I were in the same group. We had to find 6 items that were printed on the sheet given to us and capture them in a photo. We would get points for crossing each article on the list and bonus points for creativity and effort. Some of them were an object that begins with the letter R, a velvet sock, a snowman with a pink scarf, a snow globe, and more zanier or sillier things. 2 teachers were there to look over the game. We were given 40 minutes to complete our hunt. I think I know the first one. We can surely find a reindeer at Christmas, I said and took the sheet from her hand. Kamalika frowned. Yes, but I don't remember seeing a reindeer in any of the decorations. It took us 10 minutes to find a reindeer, and we took a picture from Kamalika's smartphone. There were clues written beside each item which helped us a lot. At one point, we even asked help from 2 Santa Clauses, but we only received candies and smiles. On our way to find the 4th item on our list, I tripped and fell face down in the fake snow. Thankfully, I didn't get any cuts. After 40 minutes, we collected all the pictures and took them to our teacher. Most of the teams had completed their hunt by that time. After another 10 minutes, the teachers announced the results. We came second, and each of us got a drawing box. It was the first time I had won something in a game. I hugged her. All of us decided to take a break and went to get refreshments. I sipped my orange juice and she put her head on my shoulder. She sighed. I'm so tired. This time let's play something simple. I totally agreed with her. We had searched the entire school 6 times. I was exhausted but eager to play other games. We decided to play Pin the Tail on the Donkey. I had always thought this was a boring game, but I never laughed so hard while playing any other game. My insides were aching by the time we finished playing. I had soon forgotten she was not my friend, and enjoyed our time playing and gossiping. I began to talk quite freely and told her about my family, my likes and my dislikes. She questioned me from time to time, and soon I was the one who talked and she listened. She drew me out very well, and I wasn't feeling lonely anymore. She accepted me for what I was, a quiet girl who didn't like to socialize and preferred to be alone. Tiasha and Shreya joined us for playing musical chairs. I had taken an instinctive dislike to Tiasha. "I was playing balloon bursts. Where did you guys go?" she asked us. "We were playing pin the tail on the donkey. It was so much fun," Kamalika said. Tiasha pouted. "You could have come with me." "We were enjoying ourselves. Besides, Esha doesn't like balloon bursts." Tiasha pointed a long, thin finger at me and said, "You'll come out of your shell someday." What's wrong with the way I am now? I found myself hating her with firm, unreasonable hate. "Here we go," shouted Shreya as the music started. We all gathered in a circle and started walking around the perimeter of the chairs. Kamalika was the last one left. I cheered for her. She won a cute little teddy bear. We cuddled it for a while. There were only 5 minutes left before our party was over. I was worn out and leaned on Kamalika. "My legs are aching." "But I had so much fun," I said and linked our hands together. We stood and gazed at the makeshift village where baby Jesus was in the arms of Mother Mary. I prayed that next year Kamalika and I were in the same section. I think it was the way she stood up for me that strengthened the bond between us and cemented our friendship. She was with me all the time. The bell rang and everyone went outside. After our prayers, we were given sweets and chocolate from Santa Claus. My mother was standing near the gate. She waved at us. "Did you guys have fun?" she asked as we soon reached her. "Yeah, we enjoyed it a lot," I said and smiled at Kamalika. "We also won many gifts, drawing box, candles, and a ton of chocolates," Kamalika added. "That's wonderful. I'm glad you guys had a good time." She hugged both of us. I was surprised that I didn't wish to go home at all. I pressed my lips together from protesting to go home. "Bye, Esha," Kamalika said as we got inside the car. "Bye!" I waved and shouted at her. My mother grinned beside me. It was the first time I didn't feel bored or lonely in a crowd. Instead of sitting in the dark watching out over a city filled with light, this time I was pulled into the light. I leaned out of the window and gazed at her. Someone was talking to her, but she didn't appear to be listening. She was looking at me as the car drove away. I waved to her all the time. She stood there near the gate, a bright, intelligent girl, and I watched her until she was lost in the crowd. And that's going to do it for episode 6. Stay safe out there and stay well. See you next time.